Hi all, I am Companion Wolf. Welcome to my channel and another RPG developer Bakin tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a map HUD including compass, map name and some additional player coordinates, and I'll expand on this where you can toggle it on or off depending if you have certain items in a later video. The very first thing we should do is to create some variables for the player's X and Y and height coordinates, which will then be used on the map HUD. There are several ways of doing this, but if you know me from my Smile Game Builder tutorials, you'll know that I always create a common event for storing these values real time. Don't worry about the first sheet or the local switch for now. The event sheet should be run repeated in parallel, and this will run constantly in the background monitoring these values. Ignore this as well. The main thing is these three variables. The first one is an advanced variable box for the player X. It's set under coordinate information for player set to the X coordinate, and you can either keep it at a sign or you can assign with decimals rounded down unless you like precise coordinates. We do the same thing for the player Y, which is actually the elevation or height, and finally another one for the player Z coordinates, which is the equivalent of left and right. It can be confusing, but as long as you remember that Y is up, don't know why they did it this way. Anyway, that's it for the common event. The first thing we need to do to create the basic HUD layout is going into the layout tool, and we will add a new layout which will be called map HUD. Under its layout parts we will add the container for rendering and 2 parts for strings, and just copy and paste this, drag and drop it underneath like so. Now these should be renamed accordingly for reference container. This would be the map name, and these would be the player coordinates. So for the map HUD container, we'll adjust the settings for the screen location, size, etc., wherever you would want it to be. Now a quick note on the window image for the map HUD's background. If we were to set a background image for this, such as this, it will override everything else. It's essentially the same as adding a message window, which takes priority over everything else. So even if we were to add another image to it at the highest layer level, which is 255, it wouldn't make a lot of difference because the window HUD, including this background, will display on top of that regardless, and this is why we need to set this to none, and to set the background manually, which we'll do in a moment. In the meantime, just a few settings here. Change that to 960 and 120. Now these horizontal and vertical sizes would ultimately depend on your screen size. In my case it's set to 920 by 1080. So for the map name, which is one of these text panels, we'll need to set the display map name that the party is on to map, which will display the current map name, and then we'll set its text color to, I don't know, maybe just stick with white for now, but you can change the color accordingly. And we're going to use the bold effect, and then set this for 146 and the vertical 826. And 70 for the vertical size, and then we'll just scale this up to 1.5 times. So for the map coordinates, let's set the basic settings first. 148 by say 60, 826 and 70. Scale it up slightly, and once again change the color. That should be done. So in specify what to display, we are going to use the variable values, the variables we had set up in the common event. And if we have a look under events, this is the one we want to use. So it would be the $, and this in the square brackets would be the name of the variable. So for this one we would want X, and we had named it player X, but we can also have multiple variables in here. So Y, which is the XY coordinate, and remember that it would be player Z, because then the height would be player Y. And then what this will do is it will display the X, Y and height in the map. Anyway, this is the format for these. Now, as a quick note, the $$ does not seem to work properly with string variables, only with numbers and certain strings. It's kind of weird like that. I mean, you know, sometimes it works with the strings, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what's going on with that. So this is now done, and we can move on to displaying the map on the HUD. And the reason that we use free layout for event for this, which I forgot to mention in the beginning, is that it can be called through an event, not through any of the main menus. For the map HUD itself, we'll need to create another common event which runs once only. We will add a display image. Just make sure that it's a lower layer than the compass ones if you want to add that too, which we will shortly. It's set up here because, as I mentioned earlier, the window itself would be displayed on top, and everything else, notably the compass, would be displayed below it. So the final thing to add here is the display free layout for events, which incidentally is under screen effects, and then you can display the free layout. So the one that we would want to use is the map HUD, and then that's okay. Now the final thing to do is to add the compass. You can actually set it up by adding a common event and using the compass. I've already set this up, so you can't have two at once. So you just click that and you will be presented with this. And of course this is number of the background 105 and the number for the needle 106, and that's why I said put the map HUD image one below You can change these numbers, but I usually like to keep them the same. And you can change their graphics accordingly. Anything you like. Incidentally, these are graphics from my Compass graphics pack, volume 1, which is designed so that you can mix and match whatever ones you like. Mix and match of your choice. Let's see, I will select that one. Now we can play test it. And there you have it. There's a little bit of an error there. Let's just fix that quickly. Map text. The problem is you gotta be sure that when you select any of these, that it's just kept blank, because it will override. For instance, it would automatically add it. It wouldn't override what we've selected. Unfortunate. Maybe a little niggly bug. So we can play test it again. And there you have the name of the map, the X and Y coordinates, just to confirm, and height, it will all adjust. Like that. Pretty cool. Now for the compass, the compass needle will move according to the camera rotation by holding the right click, not the direction in which the player is facing. I'll see if I can do an update for a fix for a tutorial, just as I did with the SGB one. In the meantime, that's it for this video. If you found it useful, do the usual thing and click like, and if you haven't already, the subscribe button. Activate the bell icon so that you will know when I upload a new video. Feel free to share your comments as well, including ideas for future tutorials, and I'll see if they're viable. Also, as usual, you can follow me on social media, and if you'd like to support me, you can donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee. It'll be greatly appreciated and will go towards the website and additional costs, as well as production of these videos. All of the links are in the video's description. You can join the official RPG developer Bakin and Smile Game Builder Discord. The link will be in the description as well. And finally, I'd like to give some thanks to Smile Boom, the Discord community, and everyone who has supported me, especially through my difficult times. Everyone who has donated and sponsored. It's all greatly appreciated. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Until the next time.